Well done, team. It's good to see the safe house filling up again. The only way we're going to keep London from falling into total oppression is by rebuilding the resistance. We need to recruit, train, build back our arsenal. The people are itching to rise up and take their city back. We just need to show them that DedSec are fighting along with them.
That's fine. But I want to take the fight directly to those taking advantage.
Albion's taken our home and turned it into a war zone, silencing anyone who dares stand up to them.
Clan Kelly are also bad guys. Exploiting people who are weak? We kill them too.
Fair, but remember that this zero-day hacker group is still out there. They took out DedSec once, and it's a good bet they'll try again. I believe they were responsible for the bombings and framed DedSec. With your help, I plan to get to the bottom of this mystery.
I'd say that's a full docket. Enough talk. Let's unfuck London.
I found a lead that may help us unravel more about Zero Day and the bombings we ate shit for. I've picked up an encrypted signal from the Tone conference site that's been broadcasting on a loop since the night of the bombing. Go investigate. You might even get to try out that fancy new AR tech we stole. I mean, creatively shared.
Just relax, okay? Take a deep breath. I'm not gonna let my blood boil over this situation.
National crime statistics report a 37% reduction in violent crime over the last year. Albion is working for you.
DedSec calling. You're up.
Fuck yes.
Do you think you have what it takes? Visit an Albion recruitment station today and find
This is real DedSec stuff.
Coming up in today's episode of The Upload, we're talking about how Bagley managed to conquer London. Pretty much my favourite topic. I could talk for hours about the rise of the AI system. It's easy to forget about its origins. It's so present everywhere we go now. Bagley just kind of blends into the background.
Bagley is the service AI that's present in every Optic device. Whether you're using the Optic, Bagley will be there. The AI is streamed to your Optic from Bloom Central Command Center, and it was first created by Skylas, our tech hero, as part of her techno-utopian idea for the world. Why do you think it grew so quickly?
In my mind, it's no surprise that Bagley became so popular. It's funny, useful, fast. It's a great companion and really just makes life so much easier. I mean, when you look back at all the service AIs that used to exist, they just can't compete. When you ask Bagley anything, there's a quick answer and loads of information available to you. One day, I let Bagley answer all of my messages for a whole 24 hours.
This place has bad feelings. Many died. Too many ghosts.
This whole area is sus. Look at all this to be under repair.
True. Mr. Bagley, what am I looking for?
Any kind of device or component that could still be emitting the signal. It seems to be coming from within the rubble.
I'm gonna record this shit.
What the hell?
This is it. The signal is coming from this Spiderbot fragment. No indication yet who it belongs to.
Looks like it got hit by a hammer. Lots of times. What's it doing here?
Difficult to say, but with an AR reconstruction, we may be able to see what happened to it and if it relates to the attack. Access data relays in the vicinity, and I can compile enough data to build the AR reconstruction. Perfect. 2 more data relays to go. One more data relay and I'll have it. That should do it. Now I'll just take the audio from this stream and the video from these 36 and Got it. Go back to where you found that spider bot, and I'll show you the AR reconstruction from the night of the explosion.
Yes, I understand.
CTOS AR. Data reconstruction in progress.
You brought the payload? Fuck, think we'd go back to you? Don't trust the Kelly dog.
Kelly? Clan Kelly? Gangster guys blew up London?
Looks to me like someone was meeting with their dealer, which in this case would be the Kellys.
Who were they meeting? She's not with the Kelly's crew. Do you think maybe she's with Zero Day?
Well, don't just stand there. Keep looking.
Bagley, do you know who's using Spider-Bot?
I've now fully decrypted the signal the Spider-Bot is broadcasting. And while I cannot identify a specific user, it is a call code used by the Metropolitan Police Service.
The police were watching? The plot thickens.
The reconstruction continues behind that rubble.
Is there a quantum tunnel here we can use?
Quantum tunnel technology is at least 10 years away, but Spider-Bots and drones are here today. You could try one of those if you don't feel like waiting.
Good plan.
Why don't you aim those human eyeballs of yours at the van's cargo?
Yes, I understand.
RDX nitrogen, and the exact same detonator system like the bombs that were planted at Parliament.
That is Zero Day's signature.
There, hurry. Got all the deliveries.
So you were hired to supply all the targets? Shut it, we're all on need to know.
Okay, so Zero Day used other crews to execute bombings. Wow, they must have a lot of evil friends.
That's certainly one way to pull off a massive coordinated attack while remaining anonymous. Zero Day needed manpower and resources, but they needed them at an arm's length. And it doesn't take the world's greatest AI detective to see that both Clan Kelly and Albion benefited in the aftermath. Unfortunately, this is the most we can get out of the AR reconstruction. But if we could find the mystery officer who was spying through the Spider-Bot, maybe they could tell us more. Tracing the Spider-Bot's serial number, it was assigned to New Scotland Yard 3 years ago. Perhaps more information about its user or its assignment will be available at the station.
Police could know who the real bombers are and they say nothing. They're supposed to be the good guys. Why?
The only way to know for sure is to investigate New Scotland Yard.
Calling. I'm Tash, and this is Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want you to know. Today we're talking about policing, by consent or by force for profit. Ever since Sir Robert Peel created the police force as we know it in 1829, London has relied on the Metropolitan Police Service for peace, stability and justice. They weren't perfect, but at least there was some democratic control. Now there's a new sheriff in town. If you're a victim of crime or you just want to silence a peaceful protest, there's a new police force to turn to. Albion. And they're about as far from the old-fashioned Bobby on the beat as it's possible to get. When Hassani handed over London to Nigel Cass, many people were surprised. But we weren't. London has been up for sale and privatisation for years. The only difference is that now the private companies have guns. So how did it happen? What does it mean? How can we reverse it? And what's the price of justice? Here's Helen, who investigated policing, civil rights and justice in pre-crisis Britain.
One of the kind of classic hallmarks of a fascist leader is having their own private army or police force. You know, it is in a democracy, the state tends to have a monopoly on violence, and that's not what happens when a state fails. You know, you end up with people running their own private militias, and we've seen this all over the world. You know, every kind of great dictator in history has had basically their own jackbooted set of guys that they can send in to rough up people who annoy them. And that's the danger of a force like Albion. You know, you start taking powers to yourself, and actually who is in charge of telling you no? It's always a worrying sign when you see, say, a president surrounding themselves with ex-military guys, with, you know, 5-star generals or whatever it might be, because that sort of suggests that they want to run the country like you run a war. And in a war, you have to be incredibly hierarchical. You know, you have to be top-down. People essentially have to obey orders, because that's the only way that you can make that work. That's not how it works normally in a democracy. And that's the problem, really, is you end up in a situation where normal peacetime checks and balances are suspended, and that's really scary.
Is policing ever politically neutral? We spoke to academic Alfie, all names on the down low, of course, about the politics of law and order.
I think it's very important to consider the changes that have happened in public space in London. I mean, the honest answer is there hardly is any shared public communal space anymore. Everything is privatised, owned by corporations and companies, and it's very difficult to feel that the space is our own to use. And essentially, you can be moved on from any area by forces which are employed to police the private area for corporate profit rather than for a community's overall well-being and shared livelihood. So I think what you're looking at overall is a situation where it's now completely impossible to distinguish between a kind of state police or a police which operates in the service of the community and one which operates to protect private interests, which leads us to the situation we've got with something like Albion today. A private police force gives you a very different kind of justice to what you might have in a former society.
This is London Calling. I'm Tash, and this is Bucket.
Holy shit! Albion's running this station.
And the entire police service. But don't worry, if you're not pleased with your privatised goon squad, just take your business across the street.
I never thought I would say I miss regular police, but now I miss them.
Not to worry, the only difference now is the uniform, assault weapons, and the fact they're motivated by profit over public service. Now, any record or information on the Spider-Bot will be further in.
If you're a victim of crime or you just want to silence a peaceful protest, there's a new police force to turn to. Albion. And they're about to
Oh, damn it!
The only difference is that now the private companies have guns. So how does it happen? What does it mean? How can we reverse it? And what's the price of justice? On Buccaneer, everyone's full names for their own safety. Here's Helen, who investigated policing, civil rights and justice in pre-crisis Britain.
One of the kind of classic hallmarks of a fascist leader is having their own private army or police force. You know, it is in a democracy, the state tends to have a monopoly on violence, and that's not what happens when a state fails. You know, you end up with people running their own private militias, and we've seen this all over the world. You know, every kind of great dictator in history has had basically their own
Nothing to report here.
You can't do this to me. Oh, thank you. Oh no, no.
There we go. I think you just made a new friend. If Albion wanted to lock them up, they must be dangerous. And dangerous we can use.
Exact. Thank you for sleeping now. Mr. Bagley, is this the spider bot we are looking for?
According to the serial numbers, this matches the piece of spider bot from the Tone bombing site.
Can you see who was using it?
Navigate the spider bot from out of that room. I'll need a direct connection in order to learn more from our bisected friend.
Check.
That's a part of the remote detonator system from Parliament. If the Met, or Albion rather, actually analysed it, they would see it wasn't DedSec's handiwork at all. That opening right there looks like a good exit point. Right, get comfy. This spiderbot might be broken and missing some of its legs, but it can still jump and fit through vents. That's a good way to get through the station undetected. That's Dalton's mask. It must have been recovered from Parliament. It might be the only thing left of him now. buggery fuck, would you look at all this junk? You'll have to jump your way across to get to the next vent opening.
Decided they couldn't be trusted to do their jobs. Suddenly some corporation could clean up our streets better than the same police force we've had for who knows how long. When crime fighting is treated like a business, crime will never go away. That would be bad for business, right? So don't tell me Albion has our best interests on it.
If the police could handle their job, Albion wouldn't be necessary. But they can't. Tone bombing is a perfect example. A bunch of lazy, overtrained cops asleep at the wheel. Well, they're not at the wheel anymore, are they?
You're almost there. Make your way through this last vent path.
Got it.
Scanning Spiderbot and accessing its internal drives. While I'm analysing this data, you should make yourself scarce. Unless you'd like to explain to your new, heavily armed, privatised police force why you've broken into the station.
Okay.
Code 3. Closest units proceed to alarm location.
Sweep the area, even if it's a false alarm.
The Spiderbot fragment you found has a satellite-based GPS module that regularly pushed its location to a specific ground station.
A secret location? Wow. The police really like having secrets. Let's go find this place, Bagley.
Pushing you the ground station's coordinates.
Bagley, how can I get in?
I'm detecting a surveillance network guarding a space under this bridge. If you can patch into it, perhaps you can take a look inside. The GPS history of the Spiderbot we recovered regularly pinged these coordinates. Our mystery witness to the real bombers must have come to this lovely, damp location several times.
Ah, it's cold and it stinks. Only good thing to do here is take a piss.
Or to discreetly dump a body into the Thames.
I think we found a super secret police hideout.
Well, if Albion was stomping all over your workplace, you'd find a different place to store your lunch too. And it seems our mystery officer was dedicated.
What kind of work was this police doing that led to the town bombing?
The computer's dusty enough to kill an asthmatic, but there may still be something useful on it.
This is Inspector Caitlin Lau. Well, former inspector now. Since Albion's coup, the Met is no more. The police brass had already buried the evidence anyway. Everything implicating Albion and Clan Kelly in the bombings. But I know Mary Kelly's band of twats were involved, and they're involved in other crimes we can look into. Me and a few good mates are willing to go off book, going after Mary Kelly again. I'll never fucking learn, will I? Inspector Caitlin Lau, video log. Clan Kelly and Albion are teamed up on some deal. I don't have all the details, but it looks to be human trafficking. The European Processing Center is the Albion angle. Since the bombings, they can grab anyone off the street. Call them illegal immigrants, potential DedSec insurgents, whatever. Though we know who the real danger is. So, Clan Kelly gets hold of these people, these immigrants, deportees, victims, really, and they're taking them somewhere. But where and why? It all comes back to the boss lady herself. I knew she was into something, but she wriggled off the hook. There's only one way I can do this. 24/7 surveillance on Mary Kelly. If I'm caught, well, this will be my last entry. But I have to see what she's hiding.
So, our mystery officer was Inspector Caitlin Lau. It sounds like Mary Kelly was her white whale, and her investigation led her to the bombings.
Albion's bad enough, but working with Clan Kelly is super villain territory.
It seems like 0 Day's web covers all of the unsavory bits of London. Tug on a thread, and it leads back to them. Clan Kelly and Albion included.
And what about the missing people? Shit! We have to end this operation.
Inspector Lau mentioned Albion is running their part of the operation out of the EPC. Detectives like us call that a lead.
This is Inspector Caitlin Lau.
This Albion Clan Kelly business leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And if Caitlin Lau's right, then this little nugget jumps to the front of the queue. We have reason to believe a former DedSec operative may still be alive, but missing inside the EPC.
Angel Lopez, not London-born, but I won't hold that against him, unlike some others.
Looks like Angel got caught up in the immigration roundup, which, ironically, may be the only reason he escaped 0 Day's DedSec purge.
Anti-immigrant sentiment has grown in London since the bombings. Albion fuels it. It allows them to send anyone they want to their brutal refugee camp.
We need to find Angel before they discover he's DedSec. This is kind of personal, too. Finding his trail might just shed some light on the Albion Clan Kelly connection.
Shit. Well, the good news is in the country. No one's taking deportees from the UK. The bad news is probably in limbo at the EPC.
I've sent the details to your device and advised our contact at the EPC. They can get you inside.
done talking. Time for licks. I'm sick and tired of you. Fool!
Get the fuck out of here.
You bumbucklot. You jankro.